so much. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to Bhaktivedanta Manor. We have a short class on the Bhagavad Gita, so please come and sit down and we can discuss the most famous book, the most famous Shastra in the world. And before I do that, how many people think you have to be really intelligent to read the Bhagavad Gita? Well, some people think you have to be really intelligent. The Bhagavad Gita is often in academic circles. There are Brahmins and elevated people who read the Bhagavad Gita, but in many countries it remains in the academic circles. But actually, the Bhagavad Gita is revealed to us in the heart. It is actually not an academic process. It's like a revelation. So there's only one requirement to understand the Bhagavad Gita, and it's a deep sense of humility. I'm willing and I'm open to see what is revealed to me. And in order to do that, we say the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now, please have a seat. Put the cushions down slowly and please come and have a seat. So when we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, it's calling out to Krishna to elevate our consciousness. Because we often think our consciousness is defined by how well we study, how well we've done in our exams, how well we do often in our professional lives. But when we're actually calling out Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, we're asking Lord Krishna, who's a form of Vasudev, who uplifts our consciousness. And the defining difference between people's consciousness is that if you're at low-level consciousness, and we all fall there sometimes, where we get angry, we get frustrated, we can get fearful, we can get scared. We can also feel pride. I know everything. Or, we can feel a sense of superiority. But when we're listening to the Bhagavad Gita, ladies and gentlemen, all it requires is a deep humility with our heart. So when I call out Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, all you have to do is call out with all your heart, please, Krishna, reveal to me what it is I need to understand. Because in this world, we're always looking out. Social media, we're looking out things to give us the guidance. And sometimes we're so unsure within our heart. So please repeat after me. And thank you, everyone, for sitting so beautifully and so calmly. Now, before I do Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, we sing a song. And I'll sing the first sentence, and then please repeat after me. And that is to get us in the right mood of Vrindavan. Now, in the mood of Vrindavan, there's no complexity. There's no duplicity. There's no sense of unsafety. There's only unconditional love. So please repeat after me as I sing. And let's get into the mood of Vrindavan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Well done, everyone. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Jaya Yasodanandana, Jaya Brajjana Ranjana, Jaya Brajjana Ranjana. Nana, Jaya Brajjana Ranjana, Jaya Brajjana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Right, can we ask everybody to, because this is the mandir, just to be silent, put your phones down please, and just settle down. And what I'm going to ask you to do is, in this crazy life, where there's always something demanding our attention, I'm going to ask you to all take a breath. So take a deep breath, and let it go. Let go what happened 1 minute before, 5 minutes before, 1 hour before, 1 day before. You know, we're all trying to deal with life. So now you're here, just allow yourself to absorb the peace. So just keep taking a deep breath in and out. And just still the mind. And don't worry about the sounds around you. Now, for some reason, you're here. You're not here by any chance. So let's find out what Lord Krishna has to say to us, what Lord Krishna is going to reveal to us in the Bhagavad Gita. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you. So today we're reading from the last chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, and it's verse 29. May I ask, is there anybody here who's never heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Thank you for your honesty, my darling. And I'm sure he has, but that's okay. Is there anybody who's never heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Do you all know it? Do you know it? Yeah? So put your hand up if you know it. So I can pitch. The rest of you didn't put your hands up. You don't know it? Do you know it? Put your hands up, please. Because then I know if you already know it. Okay. Anybody know what's happening in... Thank you. Anybody know what's happening in the 18th chapter? If you know the Bhagavad Gita, please tell me what's happening in the 18th chapter. Okay, I'll ask you... I should ask a better question. Which part of the Bhagavad Gita do you like? Anybody? Anybody? Which part of the Bhagavad Gita do you like? Or inspires you? Yes, my love. Right, the first chapter inspires you. Why? You're interested in what Arjuna's asking, what he's saying. Wow. Anybody know what's interesting about the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita? Sir? Any thoughts about the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter? I agree with you. The first chapter is the most interesting because Arjuna is on a battlefield, and sometimes you can call that battlefield life. You know, he loves all his family members, and all of a sudden he finds out maybe they don't like him as much. Maybe they're turning against him. Some even want to fight him. So Arjuna is very perplexed. How many of you in life think, I had a really good relationship with a relative or somebody, and now I find out they don't like me? Who's experienced that? We've all gone through it, haven't we? So Arjuna is going through a really difficult time, and he's asking Krishna, I don't want to fight. You know, better I just give up. Better I just curl up and die. And that happens to a lot of people when life gets too much, and we think, what's the point? So thank you, young lady. What's your name? Well, you are a very intelligent young girl, because when we understand the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it really helps us to understand what we're going through within our heart. So, let's start with the verse. Buddhirvedam drista chaiva gunatas vidam shrunu pojayamanam asenna pritaktvana dhananjaya. Please repeat after me. O winner of wealth, now please listen to me as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to 3 modes of material nature. Now, so Srila Prabhupada, by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, now after explaining knowledge, the object of knowledge and the knower in 3 different divisions, according to the modes of material nature, the Lord is explaining intelligence and determination of a worker in the same way. How many people know what the modes are, what gunas are? Anybody know what gunas are? Yes? Would you like to tell us what they are? Yes, gunas are goodness, passion, and ignorance. How do they affect us?
It's like sattvic mode is like you are doing the right thing. In the rajasic mode, you have bit of anger and compassion also. In the tamasic mode, it's a mode of ignorance, you can say.
Yes, thank you so much for that. So the modes or the gunas are 3 types. There's sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. And you're right, in sattvic gun, we have a clear mind, we're steady, we're calm, nothing affects us. Even if somebody rattles our cage, we're usually pretty calm. But when we're in rajasic, as you quite rightly said, we can get very passionate, we can easily get angry, we can get irritated, and we can even be quite proud, actually. It makes us want to do things really quickly, really fast. And then, of course, tamasic is when we can feel apathy, when we can feel, it's almost like ignorance, you know, a sense of darkness. Your consciousness is covered, so you don't even know what to do. You know, it's almost like when you're tamasic quality, you do all the wrong things. Like if you want to wake up early in the morning, in tamasic nature, you wake up very late. In sattvic quality, if you want to go to sleep early, tamasic, you go to sleep really late. So your routines are out of... and actually, if you're in tamasic, the chances are you can be very depressed. You can feel apathy. And Arjuna was feeling like that a little bit. He was very much thinking, do you know what? I'll just give up on life. What's the point? You know, everybody I thought I trusted and I loved, I haven't got anybody in this world, sort of thing. And he's thinking of giving up life. But so that's what happened. So here Krishna is saying, he's explaining to Arjuna that depending on what consciousness we're in, all of us here will hear the same thing, but we will understand it differently. Now, if we understand it differently, it means that there is like a fog in our consciousness that's actually blocking us from the truth, hearing the truth. Tell me, does anybody know when you're in Sattvic Gun, what are your actions? What do you eat? How do you behave? What kind of a person would you be? Anybody know?
Eating vegetarian food and will be very positive. You don't have anger, ego.
Yeah. So yes, madam, you said that, because I'm going to repeat because there are people online listening, so they won't hear your voice. I'm going to reflect back. So you're saying those who are in Sattvic, they eat non-violent food. I'm not here to tell anybody what you should eat, but in Sattvic, according to Ayurveda as well, it's non-violent food. It's food that's not derived from killing an animal. Also, what else did you say, madam? You're calm. You're very calm. So this tells us, and you don't have any ego. And actually, if you are in Sattvic Gun, you can be a really great leader. Because if you're not flying off the handle all the time, even as a leader at home, you know, as a husband, as a wife, as a father, as a mother, if you're in Sattvic Gun, it's kind of a safe, dependable. May I just, please, if you just participate in the class. So if you are in Sattva Gun, there's less chances of you feeling, I think you're quite balanced as a person. If you're balanced as a person, you can process information so much more clearly. Now, in Tamagun, do you think somebody would want to sit and listen to the Bhagavad Gita? No. Yeah, you'd feel lethargic. You'd feel like, what's the point? This is not relevant to me. So yes, of course, so this verse is saying, Prabhupada is saying, that according to our consciousness, we are going to process information differently. So, how do we raise our consciousness? How do we raise our consciousness to Sattva Gun? Anybody? Chanting, meditating.
And improving our food habits also.
Yeah.
That is very, very important nowadays.
Yeah. So one way you can get really calm is not have onion and garlic, because onion and garlic can make you quite passionate. You were going to say?
Following good values, practice in your life.
Yes, yes, following good values. So somebody who's in Sattva Gun will follow values and virtues, because it's the highest place to actually realize high levels of consciousness. So what kind of values and virtues would you say?
Loving,
Yes, being loving, kind.
try to get peace by doing the rituals like doing prayers, meditation.
Yeah, doing rituals, prayers, meditation. So let's have a look at the values and virtues. Yes, did you want to say something? Praying, yes, we've had praying.
Following truth.
Following truth. Yes. How do we know we're following the truth? If you switch on the internet right now, how do you know what's truthful and what isn't?
His actions. like daily, and then your friend circle, peer group,
Yes.
good company.
So what you're saying is having good values, living a truthful life, and being careful about the people who are around you, because if they're not following the same values, then that's going to have an impact on your relationship, but also sometimes in our mental health as well. We'll feel quite disturbed if other people don't share the same values as us. So I wanted to ask somebody, which value do you prize very much? So you said kindness, love. Which one do you prize? Kindness. What about you, sir? Which?
Being polite.
Being polite, absolutely. What about you, sir?
It's being in a company with the peace of mind concept, where you're not expressing violently. It just, I don't know what the word is, but it's like a good company, silence and quiet, yet contemplation with me. So it's that kind of peace where you are accepting of others but not affecting yourself.
Yeah.
Let them be what they are, but be what you are with yourself, with the inner self. I don't know how to put that.
Yeah, that's really lovely. I mean, some people say santoshi, santoshi sada sukhi, that when you're calm and peaceful in yourself, you know who you are, then you allow others to be who they are. You're not so agitated by them. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I think there's a safety in that, isn't that, for yourself and others? You create a sense of safety. What about you, my love? Right conduct, yeah. So what would right conduct be for you if you broke it down? One right conduct. Yeah, doing actions from the goodness of your heart. You do it because you want to do it. Thank you. Anybody else? So which value do you appreciate? Patience. Okay. Why do you think patience is so important?
When we try to do something, or they try to do, you 95%, 90% you are there. And if you have a patient, you reach to 100%.
Yes, so patience is such a virtue. It'll get you there. Yeah. When you're in tamagun, you want it really fast. But when you're in sattvagun, patience is such a virtue because eventually you know you'll get there.
He has his own time.
Yes, Krishna has his own time. Somebody said to me, Krishna may delay your prayers, but he'll never deny them for you. So we have to, yes, absolutely. We have to be patient. He'll do it in his own sweet time for all the right reasons for us. Thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody else? What about you, sir? What value do you, values or virtues do you appreciate? Trust. Yeah, trust is really important, isn't it? Because again, trust creates safety. Yeah, trust is a very, very important value. Yes. Happiness. Yeah. So what makes you happy? What makes you happy? Sorry, I can't hear you. Laughter. Yeah. Somebody who's in tamagun, will they be happy? No, they'll just be depressed, actually. They won't know how to laugh. But someone who's in Sattva Gun, they will laugh about simple things. They will feel so much joy in often the most simple things. So you're right, actually laughter is a really, really important quality. My question to all of you is, when did you all laugh? When did you all have a good laugh? Right, what about the ladies there? Which values and virtues do you value? Kindness. Why do you think kindness is so important? So do you mean we have to be kind or other people have to be kind? Everybody has to be kind. So again, if you're in Sattva Gun, it's going to be so easy, it's going to be so natural to have empathy. Kindness comes when we have empathy, sympathy. We know what the other person is feeling. We know what they're going through. Yes, of course, that's really important. And then maybe kind to ourselves. If we've been brought up in a very strict family, my family come from the army, everything is quite regimental. It's got to be on time, which is what happens as Brahmins when you're looking after the deities. Everything has to be on time. That's very sattvic as well. But the other extreme can be very extreme, demanding, intolerable, punishing. All of those things are also there. But sometimes you can see that there's a place for that. But unkindness can go if we forget to treat people for who they are and what they're feeling. So thank you for that. Now, in the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna is really saying to Arjuna, I've told you about everything. You've asked me lots of questions. I've told you about the cosmic manifestation. Krishna actually says to Arjuna, now you have to go and decide. So Krishna values critical thinking, independent, thoughtful thinking. The question we have to ask ourselves is, are we able to think independently for ourselves? Or do we sometimes look to the news? We look to others to help us make a decision. So anybody know how you make a really good decision if you fall in Tamagun, or if you're in Rajagun, or even sometimes Sattvagun, you're a bit confused? How do you make a really good decision? Any thoughts? Yes, my love. How do you make a decision? Speak up because I can't hear you. Ask for help, yes. So who would you go to ask for help? Good girl. Your parents or your teachers. So somebody you look up to. That's absolutely right. So the first thing we say is that if ever you're confused, you ask a guru. That could be a parent or a teacher or somebody we look up to. What else? There's 3 things that we have to do to make a really good decision. Anybody know? Could be your Swadharma. This is what we were talking about, the good values and virtues. But what else? So yes, when you are at a Sattva Gun, sometimes you're able to hear the Paramatma in the heart because the Lord is guiding you. It's a soft, silent voice. It's not demanding like the mind. What else?
That's what I was going to say, like surrender to the God.
Yes.
And then that is in your spiritual level. But then practically,
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes if we can't hear the voice, then they say Guru, then they say Sadhu. Find a Sadhu, a holy person. Ask them. And then the third one is Shastra. So reading the Bhagavad Gita. So one of the wonderful things you can do, if you can pick up the Bhagavad Gita and you can say, Lord Krishna, I'm really having this difficult decision. Please reveal to me what you want me to understand. And then you just open the Bhagavad Gita. And usually a verse will come up. And often devotees say, it'll be exactly the right answer you want. So this is one of the things about this verse, that according to which level of consciousness we're in, it's going to be difficult to process knowledge. That if we start thinking about a non-violent diet, we start thinking about kindness, love, compassion, patience, all of these things raise our consciousness to a higher level. Otherwise, we really don't understand. Now, some of you are parents. And they say the first duty of a parent is to enable a child to understand who I am. Why am I in this world? What is my purpose? Shishirada Gokulananda Sitaram Lakshmananuman Gornitai. And as parents, if you are not giving your children those answers, then it often leads to confusion. So you're the first guru, so it's really important that you do think about, looking at the Bhagavad Gita, having those discussions with your children. Because what we find is if we put such an emphasis on material knowledge, that's really important, going to school, college, university. But what about the knowledge of the soul? And we think it's going to resolve everything by having a good education and a good job. But challenges come to us, they come to our children. But when we have a good understanding of who we are, then we know where to go to find solace, and we know how to guide our children, or they know how to resolve the challenges. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, more and more people are having challenges with the mind. And this is what this verse is saying, that according to your level of consciousness, you will process knowledge in your understanding. So as parents, our first duty is to educate our children that they are a spirit soul. Now, often people think, I'm just my body. But actually, you're more than that. You're more than your body, you're your soul. And the Lord is always residing in the heart as Paramatma. So when we are quiet and we are still, we can leave space to hear the inner guidance. So I'm just going to ask you for a few minutes, just to settle down and just to experience some inner silence. And if there is sound going on outside, that's okay. You'll find yourself feeling more and more relaxed. I'm going to continue reading the Bhagavad Gita. Thereafter, Lord Krishna says, of son of Pritha, the understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating in the mode of goodness. O son of Pritha, that which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness strives always in the wrong direction of, O Pritha, in the mode of ignorance. O son of Pritha, that determination by which is unbreakable is sustained by steadfast, by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life and senses, is the determination in the mode of goodness. So in Sattva Gun here, it tells us we know between right and wrong when we're in Sattva Gun. We know between religion and irreligion. Can anybody name one thing that's irreligious? You love putting your hand up, my darling. Playing nicely. Yes. You're absolutely right. Anybody else? Anybody know what's irreligion? Adharma. One thing. Yeah, harming others. What else? Untruthfulness, yeah. So in the Bhagavatam it says irreligion, falsity, that's untruth, falsity, bluffing, lying, cheating, lust, anger, greed, envy, hypocrisy, quarreling, harsh speech, fear. Fear is irreligion. Doubt. Yeah. Fear, doubt, pain. How many of us feel fear? Almost everybody. You know why we feel fear? Does anybody know why we feel fear? Yes. Yes, yes, absolutely, because it's dark. It's dark here, and it's dark here, and it's dark here. That's why we feel fear, because we're confused of who we are. But actually, when we're fearless, this is what Krishna is saying to Arjuna, that, you abandon everything, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender to me, and all will be well. But the false ego creates fear. Did you know that we think it's just us and my mind? But actually, within us, there's the pure soul. Pure soul is Satchidananda Vigraha. It already knows the truth. It is blissful. It is always happy. It is always joyful. It's eternal. But the false ego covers us. And when it covers us, it makes us scared. Or it makes us think, I'm in charge. If you want a good job done, do it yourself. You can't rely on the world. The false ego thinks, I'm better. The false ego thinks, let go. There's no God. I don't see God. Where is God? So in that case, I'm going to be in charge. The ego, the ego, edging God out. Then the mind is always catastrophizing. That's where fear comes from. Because the mind's always going, oh, what if this, and what if that, and what if it goes bad, and what if it doesn't go right? So we have to, ladies and gentlemen, here in the mode of goodness, this verse is saying that if you're in the mode of goodness, you can take a step back and think, I'm not my mind. Treat the mind like an entity. Your false ego, automatically you can pick up the false ego through pride. As soon as there is pride, our consciousness falls all the way down. And then the intelligence. So my question to you is, when Hitler was building, he had all these scientists, and they built those gas chambers. They were intelligent people. But they misused their intelligence, didn't they? They were high-level scientists. But they used their intelligence to create gas chambers that would kill people. But somebody who is dharmic, in the mode of goodness, they'll know how to use their gifts and talents in the right way. Somebody who isn't affected by the ego, as this gentleman said, is self-satisfied. You're not bothered or disturbed by others. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's one thing I want to tell you. Thank you. Why is it that we fall into ignorance? We know the right thing. We know what to do in the right thing. We know to be sattvic. We know we need to think right actions, right conduct, right food, right environment, a clean space. Then why do we fall into ignorance? It could be lack of knowledge, sir, but Ravana, Ravana, he knew all the Vedas. He knew all the knowledge. Even Hiranyakashipu knew all the knowledge. So what is it that defines a person and their character and their conduct? Ego, ahankar, anger.
I'm the doer, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Yes, I'm the doer. I can do it myself. What else? What is different about them? You can shut the door. Well, here, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, in the end, you have to decide. Because, the one defining thing that defines us with our relationship with God is He can't force us to love Him. That's about the decision, isn't it? That when, Krishna wants us to come back to Him. But until we understand who we are, why we're here, and we develop this sense of love, then that's the only way we have to make the connection. Because Krishna is always reaching out to us. But if we're not able to make that understanding that I am spirit soul, then that's where the challenge is, sir. Because the ego covers it. The ego goes, I'm separate. The ego says, I'm alone. The ego says, I have to do it by myself. Or the ego goes, I can do it by myself. I don't need anyone. You were going to say?
Is it like attachment?
Yes, attachment. So Ravan, he was attached to what? He was lusty. Lust and attachment go together. I think a thought, and then I hook myself in it, and I really want it. And until I get the beautiful woman, if you just shut the door, please. Thank you, sir. Yeah, until I get that beautiful woman, or I get that job, or I get that position, or I get that money, I will be happy. So you can be the most intelligent person in the world, but if your desires are wrong, that's what happened with Ravana, that's what happened with Hiranyakashipu, that their desires were wrong. Nah, yes?
Ram went to Sita for revenge. That was the first intention, isn't it?
Well, yeah, some people say he might have gone for revenge, but actually he didn't care that his sister's nose was chopped off. He went to Sita because somebody told him she's the most beautiful personality in the world. And so the Ankar says, I'm going to have her. So that's what it is. It looks like he went for revenge, but actually the Shastras say it wasn't quite that. It's because he wanted, with that kind of personality, he doesn't care what happens to others, as long as he gets what he wants. It's a good point, sir. A lot of people think that, but it's very clearly defined that he wanted something he couldn't have. And that's the reality in life, isn't it? Sometimes we always want something we can't have, or something somebody's got. But actually, Krishna, in Ishopanishad, it says, Ishvasya idam sarvam yat kincham jagatam jagat tena taktena bunjita ma grita svitana. Everything is owned and controlled by the Lord. But the ego thinks it's mine. My house, my thing. I don't know if any of you have had teenage children, but if your teenage child is extremely difficult, I don't know, but I have to put my hand up, and I've said, if you don't like it, there's the door. It's my house. If you don't like it, my rules. Now I don't think that. I think it's Krishna's home. Everybody belongs in there, as this gentleman said. Everyone belongs. It's a safe place. You might not agree with me, I might not agree with you, but let's find a way of creating safety in the home for each other, for our partners, for our children. But it's the ego that causes the arguments, sir. It's the fights. And if you are... So, if you are in Tamagun, what's the ego going to look like? Tell me. What's the ego going to look like if you're in Tamagun? Depressed. I'm not good. Anxiety. Yeah. What else? Not good enough. Feeling shame. Feeling humiliated. You know when someone's humiliated us and you feel it? All of that is a false ego. Ahankar. Then what about in passion? What's the ego like in passion? Anyone know? Huh?
There will be no ego.
No, in passion. What's the ego in passion?
I want to grab this, I want this, I want that.
Yeah, grabbing. I want this, I want that. I'm better. I know better. And then what about in... where's the danger in Sattva Gun? What's the danger with the ego in Sattva Gun?
You see, everything equal.
No, there's a danger. You can have ego in Sattva Gun. What is that one thing that can... it could be, I know it all, I know everything, but it's something else. Yes, I think it's almost like that. What were you going to say, sir? Huh?
Good thinking.
No, ahankar. What is the ahankar that comes in the mode of goodness?
I know everything.
Sorry? Yeah, I'm helping others. Look at me. Look how great I am. Yeah, pride. Yeah, boasting. So pride. So that's the danger. So somebody could be on Sattva Gun and they can be calm and peaceful, but as soon as they think pride, boom, they fall down to the animal form of consciousness. Because unless we let go of pride, and pride is a terrible thing, ladies and gentlemen, because, we get affected so quickly. Somebody talks to us badly, somebody is rude. Right now outside, even with children, teenage gun crime, knife crime, you disrespected me. But actually someone who is at a high level of consciousness, it doesn't matter if somebody is your friend or your enemy, whether they respect you or disrespect you, it doesn't matter. To the outer surface, it really doesn't matter. So what does Krishna want from us? How can we understand Krishna? How could we understand God? Because all of you have said, to understand our existence, we have to be at a higher level of consciousness, and we have to follow goodness, compassion, kindness, tolerance, patience. So how could we understand God? The curtains are going to open in 10 minutes. What is your prayer going to be? Please, somebody tell me. Any thoughts? Yeah, how are you going to connect to Krishna? Because Krishna is everywhere. But Krishna is also Paramatma within the heart. But Krishna is also a person. Like us, we have likes, we have dislikes. Krishna is protective, he cares. What is Krishna's personality like? How will you connect with Krishna when the curtain opens? Yeah, Kirtan Darshan. But do you know how we connect? Is to understand that Krishna is the most kindest. Krishna is the most patient. He's been waiting so many lifetimes for us to turn around and say, okay, Krishna, I want to come back to you. But when the soul is still eager, saying, I want this, I want that, the desires, lifetime after lifetime, the desires don't stop. So Krishna is the most patient. Krishna is the most sweet. Krishna's character is sweet. Krishna's words are sweet. Krishna never harms his devotee. He corrects us. Sometimes bad things happen, we can say, that's Krishna just correcting my ahankar. But when good things happen, it's remembering Krishna is always taking care of us. Krishna is always protecting us. So Krishna, in this chapter 18, Krishna ultimately is saying to Arjuna, Sarva dharma parityanjan mam ekam sharanam. Just abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. So beautiful prayer can be, my dear Lord Krishna, when the curtains open, we look at the feet with humility. That your feet is so sad. For me to stay in the shelter of your feet is this safety in this world. Because your feet are like mountains. They'll shatter all these sins in my heart. Irreligion, falsity, bluffing, cheating, or whatever faults we have, whatever anarthas we have, Krishna can take them away just like that. His feet are the source of Ganges, so they purify us, purify our consciousness. Krishna's feet is the source of all knowledge. So Krishna will reveal to us everything we need to know when we need to know it. Krishna will help us to remember him at the time of death. If you remember Krishna, whatever you think of, whatever you remember, Krishna will give you that. So, we have to train ourselves. What is it? What do I want to think of at the time of death? Krishna's feet are the source of happy rays of sunshine. When you feel so alone, or you are confused, or you are thinking, what's it all about? Meditate on the Lord's feet, and then slowly lift your eyes up, and then see the Lord's thighs. They're the source of spiritual material world. Then the Lord's belly is the source of creation. He's existed from time immemorial. He's Brahman, he's everywhere in everything. He's in every single person. So when we do that prayer and we bow down to anyone, everyone, we're seeing the Lord within their heart. And we're seeing the Lord as a person. Then we see the Lord's smiling face. When you see the Lord's smiling face, he's telling you, I love you. You matter. Don't worry. This is the nature of Krishna. He's always giving us, good words. He's thinking about good deeds. So when you are seeing the deities, don't feel alone. Feel that connection that Krishna is speaking to me with very, very kind words that you matter. If Krishna was going to speak to you directly, he would say, I love you. You matter. Everything will be all right. Just turn to me. He can't force anybody, because love can't be forced. You can't make anybody love you. And that's what Krishna's left this the difference between us and an animal is the animal doesn't have that ability for consciousness to understand that I'm a human being. Why am I here? What is it all about? So, ladies and gentlemen, this evening, what I'd like you to do is please speak to their lordships. Never feel alone. And Srila Prabhupada built ISKCON, or Bhaktivedanta Manor. This is your home. Please make sure you come regularly. And of course, Lord Ram, do you know tomorrow is Ram Navami? And Lord Ram promises that whoever worships him, he takes away fear within our heart. The greatest fear we have is death. We think what's going to happen to us. But when Krishna takes fear away, we can live a courageous life. A life that's worth living. We can maybe make some choices that are courageous. So, on that note, I would like you to just close your eyes and just meditate. Think about what kind of prayer you're going to ask Lord Krishna. And if the rest of you are coming in, just come in nicely and quietly. Come in and sit down, and then we'll just wait very, very quietly for the conch to blow. When the conch blows, feel the sound in your heart. Yes, you'll feel it in your ears, but feel it in your heart. So just relax your feet and relax your ankles. Relax your thighs. Relax your chest. You can shut the door, please. Relax your arms. Relax your jaws, your tongue. Your eyes. Let down the armor that we usually have to protect ourselves. And just relaxing. Shh. Shh. And quietly in your mind, keep repeating Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.